Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Since it's the month of October, I am going to be sharing a few videos on TikTok that are from the paranormal and spooky, and I just want to share a few with you guys to kind of get your guys' opinion, I guess, and see what your thoughts and share my opinions with these 3 videos. So let's just get right into the video. And this TikToker's username is Gina January, and she's gonna share a story regardless of her experience at a museum and just her experience there. So here is that clip.
If you're not into really creepy stories about the paranormal, literally just scroll past this video. But if you are, I have a truly scary paranormal story for you. So this happened to me 2 years ago when I went on a birthday trip to Las Vegas. And basically, I really wanted to see this place called the Mob Museum. I was literally fascinated. I was like, I have to see it. And I'm really into forensics, and the organized crime stuff sounded interesting, so I wanted to go. So I go to the Mob Museum. It is 3 floors. I start at the first floor, I look all around, I go to the second floor, I look all around, and before I get to the 3rd floor, I realize it is 10 minutes until closing, and my mom's like, hey, just meet me downstairs, you go ahead. So I continue up these stairs to the 3rd floor, and when I get up there, I'm the only one there. There's no one up there, which was fine with me. I'm actually thinking at the time, this is awesome, like no one's in my way, I can just make my little round and head out. So when I get up there, I look kind of to the left, and there's a room where there's like a purple, real groovy looking couch, real groovy looking living room setup, and I'm thinking, oh, that looks cool, so I walk in there. Immediately when I walk in there, I just don't feel right. I don't know how to explain it. I don't feel great. Like, I just feel off. It felt like I just suddenly was like, came over with like just this creeped out feeling for some reason, and I didn't know why, because I was just admiring this like real unique looking living room setup they had going on up there. That was until I look over to the right and I noticed that there is a whole wall with a display of very graphic crime scene photos, and that wasn't the problem, okay? Like, I've seen crime scene photos, I've taken classes in forensics and stuff, but these pictures, I've never seen pictures like that displayed like that on a wall, framed with plaques underneath. I was just kind of like, I don't know. I started thinking that was why I felt off initially when I walked in the room. I was like, I don't know. I felt like the way that those people were being displayed was just like not respectful to the deceased. So my intuition was telling me, don't participate in this madness. Like, literally, let's just go. Let's just leave. So despite what my intuition was probably telling me, I'm literally thinking, I don't know, I kept gaslighting myself. I was like, maybe it's because the pictures, and I basically swallow the lump in my throat, and I'm like, no, I'm going into forensics. I have to be able to handle this. So I go up to the wall to look at all these pictures and the like stories of these people. I only looked at a couple that were on the very right side. I read like a couple of them. And then one of the other pictures from like over here somewhere caught my eye because it looked so old. It was like so saturated and so black and white that I was like, this looks like maybe the oldest picture on this wall. So I look at that picture. It's a real graphic crime scene of a man. I cannot say anything else about it on this app. So I go up to this picture, I'm looking at it, and at some point I go to read the plaque. So I move my eyes down from the photo, and as soon as I'm not even joking, as soon as I start reading this guy's name, dude, bro, as I'm reading his name, feel an energy rise behind me. Like, it felt like a tall person was like standing behind me or something, and I don't know how to explain why I felt like this specifically, but it felt like something was like hovering over me. Like, I don't know how to explain. I mean, it was just horrifying. It felt like something was like looking down at me, and I immediately feel like frozen. Like, the hairs on the back of my neck are standing up. I have chills up and down my spine. I am not good. And I start booking it out of that room, and I'm surprised I didn't literally full sprint jump down those freaking stairs, but something kept telling me like, don't run or I'm gonna give off like more fear, more energy of fear. I was fully doused in fear. It probably would have made no difference, but I get down to the 1st floor, So I finally get down on the first floor and I have to go down this entire corridor, like this entire hallway. And it's kind of a short hallway, and then you have to turn right to get to the exit and entrance of the museum. But when I tell you this felt like the longest hallway in the world, I'm telling you it felt like the longest hallway in the world. So I start speed walking down the hallway, and suddenly this energy that felt like was following me felt like it was literally standing in mine. It felt like something was standing in my energy. Like I came over with somehow even more fear than I was already feeling and start full on sprinting, about nearly falling over, like flying down these hallways. I'm literally just like flying towards the exit. And I get up to my mom and she's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" I was literally like, thank God that's over. And then I get home and some weird happened at my house. Some weird stuff happened at my house. And mind you, I've had paranormal experiences before. I have had things whisper in my ear. I have had weird experiences, but nothing made me scared like this. Nothing in my life. And I've been through cancer and like a lot of other things. And this truly is the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. But if you want a part 2, let me know.
Her story seems pretty darn spooky. It seemed like, in my opinion, the spirit of this guy was there to kind of like send a message of some kind, but I could be totally wrong too. I don't know if it was a message and a positive thing, just letting her know like, hey, I'm okay, or this crap actually did happen to me, like keep your eyes open kind of thing, or what. Let me know what your guys' thoughts on her story. This next one is by Lily Storytime, and she's going to be sharing about, in this video, about a photo book of funeral photos and a closet that maybe come hand in hand with one another. So here is her story.
Grandma's old funeral photo album, Storytime. I still have nightmares about this. So when I was a little girl, my grandma had this big, thick photo album, and it was nothing but funeral photos, like people in their caskets. Even some of the funerals that were supposed to be closed casket, she had a picture of them with the open casket. So you could still see all their horrific injuries, even when the mortician tried to touch them up the best that they could. It was horrifying. She also had newspaper articles like of their obituary, if they got in a car wreck. Like she had pictures of where they died and how they died beside their funeral photo. Each and every person was, what happened to them, what year it was, what kind of car they crashed, like every detail. Some of these people we didn't even know. They were total strangers. My grandma would go to strangers' funerals. I don't know why. So she kept that photo album in a big chest that had a lock on the front in the closet of her bedroom. And she would always make sure she locked that chest when she put it up. Her number one rule was we were not allowed to look at the photo album unless she was there. I truly believe that a lot of the hauntings that were going on in her house were connected directly to this book. So one night, me and my cousins are staying the night with her, and she left to go to the store, and my cousin said, "Hey, go get the casket book." I'm like, nope, I don't want no part of that. I'm not doing that. That book scares the hell out of me. She said, "Oh my God, Alicia, stop being such a big wuss." And of course, me being the baby of the family, I wanted to be cool and hang out with the older kids, so I said, "Okay, let's get it." Out of the closet, I lean over to open the chest, and right when I pull the lock, my cousins push me in the closet and shut and lock the door. I cannot explain to you how horrifying it is to be a small child locked in a tiny dark space with something you are terrified of. I was about to shit my pants. So I'm locked in this tiny dark ass closet with that damn book. So my cousins start taunting me. "Do you hear the breathing, the scratching? It's in the closet with you. It's gonna get you, Alicia." Of course, I start freaking out. I'm banging on the door, screaming, "Let me out, open the door," but they won't open it. That's when I start hearing my cousins screaming, "What is that? Do you see it? It's coming down the hallway. Oh my God." And I'm like, "Stop, y'all are scaring me, stop." And they start snatching on the door trying to get in with me. They get so scared of whatever they saw that they unlock the door, jump in the closet with me and shut the door back. And then we sit there and we can hear something moving around the room, but we can't see what it is. And we wait in that closet until my grandma gets home. Grandma said, "What in the world is going on? What are y'all doing in here?" And of course I ran straight up to her, grabbed her around her waist, and I started snitching on my cousins. I don't care. Later on that night, we're all three laying in front of the floor TV watching Dirty Dancing when my cousin goes to the bathroom, and when she comes back, she's pale as a ghost, like she's scared. "What did you see? What happened?" She said, "When I went into Grandma's room to get something off the nightstand, I looked over at Papa's face, and it wasn't him. He had a monster face. It was somebody else's face on top of his face. There were two big black eyes, big teeth, and they were looking right at me. He was smiling, but it wasn't Papa." She darts out the room, and when she looks back, she sees that same scary face peeking out from under the covers at the foot of the bed where Papa's feet were dangling. My Papa was real tall, so he would hang off the bed when he slept. And it wasn't the first time this had happened. Now, for some creepy backstory, a few months prior, a neighborhood friend came to spend the night with us, and about 2 o'clock in the morning, she comes running out the bathroom screaming, "There's eyes in his feet! He has eyes in his feet!" talking about Papa. She too had saw the face in between Papa's feet hanging off the bed. My other cousin was the only one brave enough to stay in the bedroom right across the hall from my grandparents' room, and she says one night she got up to go to the kitchen, and when she walked past Grandma's room, she saw something floating around their bed. But when she stepped closer to see what it was, Grandma's bedroom door slammed in her face, so she got scared and ran back to her room, and my grandma's cats hated some of these spirits. These cats would flip the hell out. My grandma's oldest cat was 18, and she didn't like nobody. She hated to be petted, but every time we stayed there, she would sit on the bed and stare up at the ceiling or out the hallway and hiss and growl. One day, we were watching the baby crawl down the hallway when the cat jumped in front of the baby and was scratching at the air, but accidentally scratched the baby. When the mama picked the baby up, she started yelling at Grandma, "I'm sick of these damn cats. You need to get rid of them." And I told her I saw the whole thing. The cat did not intentionally scratch the baby. It was trying to scratch something in front of the baby. One night, this cat woke up out of a dead sleep and started hissing. She took off down the hallway, and all I could hear was "Meow" and "shh." But when I looked out the door, there was nothing there. I think she was protecting us.
From her story, I found it pretty darn terrifying. And like, I'm also the baby of the family, and if that ever happened to me, I would probably feel the same exact way as her and all that. So, and I do believe there was something hand in hand going on in that. Let me know what your guys' thoughts on that story, because, or if you've ever been in that similar situation. So yeah. This next one is also on TikTok, and it is from, I believe the user's name is called Michaela's Spooky, and she's gonna be sharing a story from one of her friends. So here is her friend's story that she's gonna be speaking.
This is why you never joke around with the paranormal. Today we have a story that was sent in by one of my good friends, Kari. She is absolutely amazing. If you do not follow her, make sure to go check her out. Let's get into it. I have a handful of strange stories, but this one is always my go-to. It was the moment everything shifted for me. I've always been a spiritual person, fascinated by the supernatural and the paranormal. But up until this experience, nothing truly unexplainable had ever happened to me. This was around 2016 or 2017. My wife, then my girlfriend, had just moved in with me, and one night we got to talking about ghost stories and unexplained phenomena. I remember telling her I'd never experienced anything personally. She just looked at me and said, "You're lucky." Of course, I didn't leave it there. I told her I wanted something to happen. I wanted to know if any of it was real, ghosts, spirits, and the whole deal. My wife, who has had several paranormal experiences of her own, some of which I'll share another time, was not thrilled about my curiosity. She warned me not to invite anything in. At the time, we were living in a small one-bedroom apartment. That night, it was just the two of us, sitting in the living room, a cramped space that opened into the kitchen. From where we sat, we had a clear view of the fridge. On top of it sat a loaf of bread tucked toward the back right corner. It wasn't teetering on the edge or anything. Beside the fridge was our stove. As my wife was telling me one of her stories, I thought it would be funny, maybe even bold, to call out to the spirits. So I started saying things like, "I wish a ghost would try me. Come at me, ghost. Do something." My wife looked horrified. She kept trying to get me to stop. A part of me was genuinely scared, but the other part, maybe the bigger part, was still skeptical. I kept going, kept taunting. And then, suddenly the temperature in the room dropped. I felt the coldest breeze I have ever experienced in my life. Before either of us could react, we watched, eyes wide, as the loaf of bread flew off of the fridge. Not slid, not fell, flew. First it hit the stove, then hit the ground, like it had been yanked with force. I froze. My eyes snapped shut. Then I felt breathing right on the back of my neck. There was no one behind me. My wife was sitting across from me, and we were completely alone. Panicked, I ran straight to the bathroom, locked the door, and just broke down. I was crying, shaking, begging whatever I had provoked to forgive me. I was terrified. And let me be clear, I have never called out to a ghost again. That is freaking insane. That is so crazy. And hey, I mean, Kari, your wife tried to warn you. She did. So kudos to her, because people, I think, play around with this stuff thinking it's a joke or thinking that people that believe in the paranormal are crazy, but you never know. I mean, you might get lucky and nothing happens, but in instances like this is why you don't mess around, because stuff like this actually does happen. Thank you so much to Kari again for sending this in. My question for all of you is, have you ever experienced something like this where you were taunting and something crazy happened? And if you have a spooky story that you would like to send in, you can send it to my email here or send me a DM here on TikTok. Until next time, stay close to the light.
So with that story, I feel like it was also something paranormal-ish type, because how can you explain that in a way? So let me know what your guys' thoughts on that, if you guys think it's paranormal or scary at all, and all that in the comments. Those are the 3 videos I will be sharing with you guys in today's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys did, let me know by liking, subscribing, etc. And I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.